Roger Stone's going to join us. We're going to talk about that with Roger Stone, and also this very interesting bite. Watch.
Nikki this afternoon said I'm a friend of hers, actually a close friend, and wherever you're sitting, Nikki, I am a friend. We're friends. That's good. But she did say there was anger. And I could say, oh, I'm not angry. I'm very angry because our country is being run horribly. And I will gladly accept the mantle of anger.
All right, folks, joining us now is a man who knows no anger. Roger Stone, Republican political consultant, of course, former Trump advisor and correspondent with the Daily Caller, editor of StoneZone.com, and author of The Clintons' War on Women. Hello, Roger.
Steve, how are you?
I'm doing well. You know, I thought that moment, the way he diffused a potential flare-up with Nikki Haley for what I considered to be a really horrific thing that she did in the response to the State of the Union, I thought that was one of Donald's better moments from last night.
Well, several things. First of all, it's important to note that Donald supported her financially in her race for governor, and he campaigned on her behalf in the race for governor, and he considers her a friend. Therefore, it was surprising that she seemed to come out of nowhere with this stiletto that she tried to shove up under his rib cage. But it turns out her statement was vetted by the offices of Ryan and McConnell. And it gives you some illustration of what the congressional wing of the Republican Party would really like to shiv Donald Trump, because he is uncontrollable, because he's not beholden to the same special interests that they have to be responsive to. And I think it was one of his finer moments. He's going to have to engage Hillary on the women's issue. We have to get women to look at the horrific issue of Bill and Hillary and their abuse of women, the fact that she is an accessory after the fact in many of his sex crimes. It would not be helpful to pick a fight with Nikki Haley, and he avoided that. And frankly, although his exchange with Ted Cruz on his Canadian birth still made more people understand that it's an issue. Yes, Cruz is a more superior college debater type, and he has a young Dick Nixon-like quality that he knows Donald Trump was born in the USA, but the attack on Donald's mother, who's of Scottish birth but naturalized before Donald's birth, so Donald is the son of two U.S. citizens on U.S. soil, and there is no issue. That was a cheap shot, skilled kind of debate trick that I found a bit oily. Marco Rubio had a good night, I think, but he's now, Chris Christie is clearly trying to vie for that establishment mantle now that Jeb Bush just can't land a punch. Steve, the guy is a flyweight.
It was pathetic. It really was pathetic watching. I do feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him.
Trump flicks him off as one would flick a fly. It's extraordinary that he isn't better prepared for this race. So, you know, this was by far a huge kudos to Roger Ailes and Bill Shine at Fox Business News and Fox News. These guys produced the best debate of the season. It was lively. Everybody kind of had their moment.
Right.
Some lively exchanges between Chris Christie. He is not telling the truth about giving to Planned Parenthood. He is also lying about his support for Sotomayor. A quick fact check can prove both of those. So he's attempting to rewrite history for a more right-wing New Hampshire. I mean, those are big, fat lies. And he's trying to rewrite history for a more conservative New Hampshire.
You didn't say big, fat lies, did you?
Yes, I did.
I thought you did. Let me ask you about this whole brush up. I got to tell you something. And you know, I love Donald, and I'm not outwardly supporting anybody, but he knows, he's got to know that Ted Cruz wasn't going after 9/11 responders. Just like when we talk about Washington, D.C.
But it was the most adept movement of the night, Steve. I mean, the point is, some people were offended because they thought that Cruz's reference was vaguely anti-Semitic. It's like the media, business, the media. Well, who is that? That's Jews. Two of my Jewish friends said this had the whiff of anti-Semitism. I took it to mean liberal values, spending, taxation, more gays, human rights issues, civil rights issues. But no. It is not that. That's not what they're talking about.
Yeah. So you don't think he meant Jews by that at all?
No, I don't, but I think some voters took it that way. But it was an opening for Trump. The 9/11 thing was brilliant. It was the counterpunch of the night. He owned Ted Cruz. I would say that Donald Trump is always articulate, but he's rarely eloquent. His eloquence in that moment was real television. The smell of death, he talks about.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah.
It was the moment of the thing, and it more than came back at Cruz, who I think probably got the better of the exchange about his Canadian birth and the very serious and unsettled questions, which are unsettled by a court of law.
There's a lawsuit that's been filed by a lawyer who says he's nonpartisan, but it was revealed today by him on CNN that he supports or he likes Bernie Sanders, but he has filed a lawsuit to question, what is natural born, is Cruz eligible, etc. So it started already.
Well, it's interesting that he makes the case about George Romney, and he makes the case about John McCain. There were others. Lowell Weicker was born in Paris. He wanted to be president. I argued he probably wasn't eligible. It is not settled law. It was just never brought to the courts in those periods. There were serious questions about it for those men. There are serious questions about it today. Natural-born citizen is not defined in the Constitution, nor is it defined by any court of law. So this is in many ways an open question. Cruz, in the exchange with Trump, tried to make it about whether your parents were citizens. There's more to it.
Right. Yeah.
The land you're born on, Trump virtually said this. It's the land you're born on that matters.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Roger, very quickly. So is it now between Trump and Cruz?
Well, it's between Trump and Cruz for the Tea Party conservative wing standard bearer, and it's between Christie and
Rubio.
More precisely Rubio, Christie, and to some extent the fading John Kasich and the fading Jeb Bush, who I will hang on because he has the money,
right,
and his big corporate donors on Wall Street to put up $100 million for the heir apparent for the prince, want that money spent kicking the living crap out of somebody. Now, in all honesty, Steve, the ads that Jeb has attacking Marco that are wall-to-wall in New Hampshire and Iowa and on the internet, they have no purpose. A voter who drops off of Rubio does not move to Bush, so they have no strategic purpose.
Yeah.
These are just pique. This is punishment because he was an attempt to retard his growth because he was a protege of Jeb who had the temerity to make a decision to run himself. I think that's terribly unfair.
Interesting. Roger Stone, always great to talk to you, sir. Thank you, my friend.
Steve, always great to be with you, and I hope the sports jacket was the right choice.
Hey, I love your outfit. And by the way, Trump is in your head. Never forget that. Up next on the Malzberg panel, David Goodfriend and Jonathan Tobin join us. Don't go away.